It is Anna Runyon, founder and CEO of Classy Career Girl. I'm super excited to be here today because we have some real life stories of women launching their dream careers and businesses from a variety of different markets, and you can all watch it live. So you're going to hear from my current students, and they're going to share with you how they launched their dream career or business and how you can do it too. So I'm super excited to get started. We have our first interview today. It is Michelle. So welcome, Michelle. I'm super excited to have you here.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Anna. I'm so excited to be here with you and with everyone, just sharing my story. You know, it's something that has brought a lot of life into me in such a dark time, and also just gives me a lot of excitement for the future.
Yay. Yeah, I'm excited to hear your story. So, how would how would you describe yourself at the start of your journey? Like tell us a little bit about, where you were in the beginning.
So when I started, I knew I had this almost like this light bulb over my head that just kind of like lit up, and it was like, Michelle, you got to do this. You got to start this business. So where I was stuck at is, where do I start? How do I do this the right way? I wanted to make sure that I created a good foundation, something that I felt solid about, something that, I felt secure financially, and also for the privacy of my clients, privacy and security of my own company. And that's really where I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. What are my resources? There's so much information on the internet. And, I came across Classy Career Girl, and it was like meant to be. And I'm a big believer in it's meant to be sometimes to connect with people in certain ways. And when I watched one of your videos, I was like instantly like, I had to do this. So it was like an immediate sign up. And I'm normally someone who hesitates and does a lot more digging and research, but it just felt meant to be. So it was like that umbrella that opened of having somewhere to go and really dig deep into the foundations of starting a business. It was golden to me. And that's really what helped me get unstuck and move forward and begin the journey.
So you were like looking all over online trying to figure out how you were going to launch your dream. What was kind of the career that you wanted to launch at that time?
So it's always been event planning services. It's always been solid on that. I'm really passionate about events and just the whole experience that I create for my clients. So that's always been certain. It was just a matter of, how do I create it? How do I get started? And also, you do so much research online, but it only takes you so far in let's say one area, and then you have to start all over your research in a different area, and kind of you have nowhere to go to with one specific place. It's kind of like Classy Career Girl. That's how I felt.
Yeah. So what were some of the challenges that you were having trying to start this events business?
Challenges, I think I had such a particular vision, and also with the logo that I had associated. So it had some custom fonts. And since I was doing the web design all myself, I got really deep into it, and it's been a fun and learning curve for me. Technically, I mean, for all web designers out there, kudos to them. They do so much. I'm sure John gets I can't imagine what he does for all of you. But really, like, it helped me just kind of dig deep into it.
Yeah. Can you talk about, you mentioned you were worried about how do I do this the right way? Like did you have some perfectionism in there that you were worried about?
Yes, I think legally I was more concerned. Just, I know because of my corporate business, just the legal liabilities. And of course, when this pandemic hit, there was so much legal, information that had to do with the business that I had, that I was working for. So all those conversations of clauses and, what I'm liable to, I'm bringing my lawyer, it got intense. And I always wanted to feel secure legally, and I didn't know where to start with that either. So you provided me with all of those resources of, feeling secure in that way, where I could always refer back to it and with confidence, and knowing what I'm talking about and knowing why and all of that.
I can't even imagine the timing of this too, like during a pandemic, starting an events business. Did people think you
It's
were
crazy.
crazy?
Yeah, I think people think I'm actually crazy because our business has changed so much, but I also felt like it was just meant to be and an opportunity to, take it. Right now I have the time and the resources to go all in on it. So, my heart's in it and it feels right.
So how did you find out about Classy Career Girl?
Um, I think it was Pinterest, if I'm like thinking specifically. I think it was Pinterest. And then from there, I think I got like a pop up of like sign up to learn more. Um, and I signed up for one of those lead magnets, and I watched a live video with you and some of your presentation and also some of your testimonials and all of that. And I was just kind of like sold right away. I literally signed up that same day.
Yay, we're so excited. So what did you think like when you just first started, you saw the success path, you have this dream, like what were the thoughts running through your head?
When I gained access to the whole portal, it was, I think, like magic for me because I just felt like this is exactly what I needed. I was like, I needed direction, I needed a resource, something that I like to do on my own time because I'm someone that doesn't like to commit to, class timings. I want to be able to do it at certain times. Like occasionally, I'll have certain times of day that I just have this spark and I can go for hours and hours. And then other times I don't. So really, I loved the idea that it was all on my own time and I had access to all of the content so I could move along at my own pace. And it wasn't like I was waiting around for anyone. So really, it was just lovely to see it all organized and in phases where it just goes in depth for each one. And not only that, but I love the tools too. So I love that you also have like a section of tools where you can, have those resources and those reading lists that you have. I've gone through a ton of those. I love to do audiobooks. I walk my dog 3 times a day and I use that time to listen to these audiobooks. So, it's always keeping me busy and I love it.
I love it. So tell us about, what happened after you started going through the success path. Like what's kind of the transformation you've experienced since learning about it?
Since learning about it, taking baby steps, just like you say, it's like step by step leads you to places. And I felt like once I launched my website, I was like, I did it. I
Yay.
did it. I was like, I felt great about it. I was confident talking to people about it and sharing it with my family and friends and also with the clients that I've also worked with. So, I have a lot of previous clients that I reached out to and I felt just so happy about it that it just continued to snowball and in excitement. But then it also led into more learning and more, exposure of like, all right, now how do I expose myself? Who do I connect? And all of that. So I feel like that ongoing process of commitment and learning and just 1% a little better and a little bit better every day goes a long way.
Love it. Because you've been really active, like some of your wins, you've been really active on social media, creating your website, creating a Facebook group. So, did you have any doubts along the way doing some of those actions?
Yes, absolutely. When I first launched my Instagram um, profile, I, started posting, but I felt like it didn't have any sort of direction. And the same with like all the other channels that I was kind of doing. Um, and I was stuck on that. I was like, what do I want to communicate to my audience? How do I relate it all? And, how do I merge all of this content together the way that I want? So I was stuck on that for quite some time. And then eventually it just kind of clicked
Yeah.
one day and I had direction. I was like, okay, let me start off by dividing it by the day of the week and let's, talk about Monday to have some consistency. So kind of how I started that was, I gave myself like Monday motivating or meeting Monday, and I do talk about something meeting related. And that's helped me give myself direction and connect my audience to something consistently, and also something that I can revert back to when it comes to lead magnets eventually, when I get to that phase of completing it all, just to create that consistent flow, just as you talk about in your phase 4.
Exactly. Yeah, you just are like I love how you say baby steps, like just keep moving forward. Do you feel like it's gotten easier since you keep moving forward?
Yes, I think
Mm.
so, because I think it's confidence. It's that confidence of like, I know I'm doing what I love, and I know that
Yeah.
I'm doing it for, I know my whys, and I think that makes a really big difference of how you think of everything. And even when you speak to others and when what they're doing in their business, it's like, what are your whys? Sometimes you think about it in a different way, and you build these connections with people. Um, not directly asking them, what are your whys? But, just observing and knowing how they run their business too, I think has helped me connect with a different type of community.
Yeah, and you can tell too by like your posts and everything, like your confidence has grown too, right? So tell us
Yeah.
about that. Like, how did you? Because a lot of people who are listening are struggling with that, right? Getting the confidence up to launch their business. How did you build that confidence?
Confidence is work. I think it's a work, it's a mental state. I think you work on yourself a little bit too, getting to know you, I think, is the biggest part of it. It's been a long journey for me. I've done a lot of meditating and a lot of yoga. I've done a lot of that that's helped me find myself. That gave me a lot of confidence in me. So if anyone needs that kind of help, I recommend maybe starting to finding you, to helping you, because then that's also the root of your whys, right? Knowing what makes you happy and why you start your business and why you're doing this. Um, and it's all a journey, you know?
Definitely. So what would be like your final word of wisdom to someone who's just thinking about launching their dream but worried about these challenges, right? The pandemic, things that are happening, like what would you say to them?
Go for it. I think go for it if you feel it in your gut and this is what you want to do. I think it's really important to follow that gut feeling, because ultimately I think it leads to happiness. It might be hard, it might be challenging. I mean, there were days that I couldn't look at the computer and I was like, oh my God, I can't, don't look at the screen anymore. But after bits by bits, I took breaks. You get started and you just want to keep going because you accomplish one thing and then you're like, let's do the next thing. Let's check the next thing off. So I really think going for it and stepping out of your comfort zone really will lead to a lot of happiness.
Yeah, and it led you out. I know I remember your post and you said you booked your first paid client. Tell us about that feeling.
Ooh, that was such a great feeling. It was the start of this new year. And, I had been helping a friend previously, and during the pandemic. I helped her do a small wedding in Colorado in the middle of the pandemic. And through her, I met her at a reception. I was helping her out. And she's like, I think I might be getting married soon. Da, da, da. So we kind of chatted a little bit like this. And I was like, I'm actually in the works of launching my business. So why don't we stay connected? We stay connected. And then, January came about, she got engaged during the holidays. She reached back out. And, her also seeing my services provided, she kept following me and seeing, my story and how I was starting my business, I think also gave her confidence in me, that led to her feeling confident about moving forward with me as a wedding planner. So that was
So
a really big one. I was really excited about that, celebrated.
so exciting. That's the best. So tell us
Mm-hmm.
where people can find you online, Michelle.
So online, you can find me at eventslife.com. And that's life with a Y instead of an I. So events with an S, life with a Y.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I
Thank
think
you
it's going to
so
be
much. I'm so
inspiring to
grateful.
people. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.